Hello guys, welcome to my video. I am Mark Lawrence Eriniedo, and today we're gonna discuss about these four topics, which is the derivative of trigonometric function, derivative of logarithmic function, derivative of exponential function, and lastly the finding the maxima and minima of the problem. So for our first topic, we got derivative of a trigonometric function. In differentiating trigonometric function, we need to memorize or at least familiarize this set of rules, differentiation rules. So for the derivative of trigonometric function, we got this problem: f of x is equals to cosine squared 6x times tangent squared 8x. So for this equation, we're gonna use the product rule, which is u prime times v plus u times v prime. We already have the value for our u and v, which is for u, we got cosine squared 6x, and for v is tangent squared 8x. So we will now have f prime of x is equals to u prime, which is the derivative of cosine squared 6x times times v, which is tangent squared 8x, plus u, which is cosine squared 6x, times the v prime, which is the derivative of tangent squared 8x. The derivative of cosine squared 6x will now be equals to 2 cosine 6x times the derivative of its inside, cosine 6x, and just copy the tangent squared 8x plus cosine squared 6x. The derivative for tangent squared 8x is 2 tangent 8x times the derivative of its inner part, tangent 8x. F prime of x will now be equal to 2 cosine 6x and negative sine 6x, which is the derivative of cosine 6x, times the derivative of 6x, and just copy again tangent squared 8x plus cosine squared 6x. Also copy the derived form 2 tangent 8x. The derivative of tangent 8x is secant squared 8x times the derivative of 8x. F prime of x is equals to 2 cosine 6x times negative sine 6x times 6, which is from the derivative of 6x. And just copy this tangent squared 8x plus cosine squared 6x, 2 tangent 8x times secant squared 8x times 8, which is from the derivative of 8x. F prime of x will now be equal to negative 12 tangent squared 8x times cosine 6x times sine 6x. Negative 12 is from the 2 times 6, and the negative from the sine, you put it in front. So we will now have negative 12 tangent squared 8x times cosine 6x times sine 6x. And for the right side, we got plus 16 cosine squared 6x times secant squared 8x times tangent 8x. 16 is from the product of 8 and 2. And that would be our final answer. And for the second topic, we got derivative of a logarithmic function. So we also got differentiation formula for this one. So for any given base a, we have this formula, and for base e, we got this formula. Derivative of a logarithmic function. We have this problem: y is equals to ln of secant squared 3x times 5x cubed. We're just gonna apply the properties of logarithmic. So we will have now ln of y is equals to ln of secant squared 3x plus ln of 5x cubed. Y prime over y is equals to 1 secant squared 3x times the derivative of secant squared 3x, which is 2 secant 3x times secant 3x times tangent 3x times 3 plus 1 over 5x cubed times the derivative of 5x cubed, which is 15x squared. Y prime over y will now be equals to 6 secant squared 3x times tangent 3x all over secant squared 3x plus 15x squared over 5x cubed. And now we will find the LCD, so we can add them. So we can add this both fraction. Y prime over y is equals to 6 secant squared 3x times tangent 3x times 5x cubed plus 15x squared times secant squared 3x all over 5x cubed secant squared 3x. We're just gonna simplify, and we'll now have y prime over y is equals to 30x cubed times secant squared 3x times tangent 3x plus 15x squared times secant squared 3x all over 5x cubed times secant squared 3x. So we need to cancel the y, so we will multiply both sides by y. What will remain is y prime is equals to 30x cubed times secant squared 3x times tangent 3x plus 15x squared times secant squared 3x all over 5x cubed times secant squared 3x, and substitute the value of y, which is secant squared 3x times 5x cubed. So as you can see, they have the same value, and we're gonna divide them and will be equals to 1. So what will remain is just the numerator, and that would be our final answer. And for the third topic, which is derivative of exponential function, we have this set of differentiation formulas that we need to be familiarized or memorize for us to be able to differentiate exponential function. So for this topic, we got this problem: f of x is equals to 8 e over square root of 2 minus 4x. For this problem, we're gonna use this differentiation rule. Derivative of e to the power of u is equals to e to the power of u times the derivative of u with respect to x. So f of x will be equals to 8 times e to the power of square root of 2 minus 4x times the derivative of square root of 2 minus 4x, which is 1 over 2 times 2 minus 4x to the power of negative 1 over 2 times negative 4. F of x will now be equals to 8 times e to the power of square root of 2 minus 4x. Just simplify now, and we will now have negative 2 over 2 minus 4x to the power of 1 half. F of x will now be equals to 16 e to the power of square root of 2 minus 4x all over square root of 2 minus 4x. So we need to take away the square root in the denominator, so we will multiply it by its congruent, which is square root of 2 minus 4x. And we will now have f of x is equals to 16e to the power of square root of 2 minus 4x times square root of 2 minus 4x all over 2 minus 4x. And that would be our final answer. So for our last topic, which is solving for the maxima and minima of the problem. We have this procedure for solving applied maximum and minimum problems. So for step 1, draw an appropriate figure and label the quantities relevant to the problem. Step 2 is write an equation representing the quantity to be maximized or minimized. It will represent it in terms of 2 or more variables. Step 3, use any relationship between the variables to express the equation obtained in step 2 into a function of a single variable. Step 4, the last step, is differentiate and equate the function to 0. So we have this problem. If three sides of a trapezoid are each equals to 8 inches long, how long must the fourth side be if the area is maximum? So first, we're gonna draw an appropriate figure, which is the trapezoid, and label the quantities for each side. The problem said three sides are each equals to 8 inches long. So we have this 8, and now we're gonna find how long the fourth side be if the area is maximum. So to know the value of the base of this trapezoid, we need to cut this trapezoid into a rectangle. So now we will have 8, and we're just gonna label the base of each base of the right triangle in the side as x. So for the base of trapezoid, we will now have the value 8 plus 2x. In solving for the area of trapezoid, we have a is equals to 1 over 2 times b sub 1 plus b sub 2 times height. For b sub 1, we got 8, and for b sub 2, we got 8 plus 2x. So h, we're gonna solve for the value of h. So for the value of h, we will use this right triangle in the side and use Pythagorean theorem to find the value of h. So for the value of h, we got x squared plus h squared equals to 8 squared, which is 64. H will now be equals to square root of 64 minus x squared. So we have all the values, and we're just gonna substitute them to the formula for the area of trapezoid. We'll now have a is equals to 1/2 times 8 plus 2x plus 8 times square root of 64 minus x squared. So if we divide 8 plus 2x plus 8 into 2, what will remain is x plus 8, and just copy the square root of 64 minus x squared. So the last step said that we need to differentiate the equation and equate it to 0. So we're gonna derive the area and equate it to 0. So we'll now have derivative of a is equals to x plus 8 times negative 2x over 2 times square root of 64 minus x squared plus square root of 64 minus x squared times 1 equals to 0. We'll now divide negative 2 by 2. What will remain is negative x, and x times negative x is x squared, and 8 times negative x is negative 8x. And we're gonna multiply both sides by square root of 64 minus x squared. That's why the square root is cancelled. And what will remain is 64 minus x squared equals to 0. And combined like terms, we will now have negative 2x squared minus 8x plus 64 equals to 0. And we divide both sides by negative 2. We have now x squared plus 4x minus 32 equals to 0. And as we can see, it is factorable. So we will now have x minus 4 times x plus 8 equals to 0. So for x minus 4, we have x is equals to 4, and for x plus 8, we have now x is equals to negative 8. We are looking for the length, so the value of x must be positive. So our x is equals to 4. Then substitute to our equation 8 minus 2x to find out how long is the fourth side of the trapezoid. So 8 plus 2x, and for the value of x, which is 4, I'm just gonna substitute 4. Got 8 plus 2 times 4, and we have this final answer, 16. Therefore, the length of the fourth side is 16 inches long. And that would be all. Thank you for listening.